State Farm would not comment on camera, but we do know they will continue to sponsor Penn State basketball.
Another heated argument, this one over a corner coffee shop in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, after 16
Authorities
in Berkeley County say the man responsible for numerous burglaries in the area has finally been arrested.
It's a hurricane that's taken the lives of 67 so far. The storm has moved faster than expected.
As soon as you get that paycheck, it feels like it's already gone. But what if I told you there's a way to feel good about
it's starting at 7. I had to climb, Peter, into this window to get in the car.
Hey, Ashley, that's right. Devoted fans is what we have here tonight. Look at this crowd.
They said that this weekend they're going to be strongly enforcing problematic areas from the past.
It was a big night. The former Penn State football coach left the court in handcuffs. Patricia Martellotti hiked over to Pennsylvania to visit the number 2 park in the United States.
This is WHAG News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Mullen. We begin tonight in Franklin County. After an hour and a half of deliberating, the jury found Jerry Rowell not guilty. Rowell was charged with shooting and killing his 27-year-old son 2 years ago. During the closing arguments, the defense reminded the jury Rowell was a family man and a trustworthy person. Meanwhile, the prosecution told the jury Rowell had extensive knowledge of guns from being an avid hunter and from being in the military.
The jury understood.
Rowell's attorney says his client hopes to get his position back at the Target Distribution Center in Chambersburg. Howard County police say autopsies of 2 young women killed in the Ellicott City train derailment are in, and the results confirmed they were crushed to death by coal from the train. The bodies of Elizabeth Nass and Rose Meyer were found buried under coal after the CSX freight train derailed just around midnight Monday. Investigators say the 2 were sitting near the edge of the bridge with their backs to the tracks when the train passed just a few feet behind them. Their funerals are set for tomorrow and Saturday. Meanwhile, CSX says trains should be moving through Ellicott City again soon. The National Transportation Safety Board will continue to investigate the cause of the wreck. A mobile phone store in Hagerstown that was robbed last week was held up again this morning. It happened just before 11 a.m. at the Boost Mobile store on the dual highway. The robber used pepper spray on the clerk and ran off. Police later arrested a suspect, Christopher Heiberger. The same store was robbed last week, but it is not clear if Heiberger will be charged for both crimes. No one was badly injured. The city of Hagerstown is closer to signing a deal with the Hagerstown Suns. Mayor Bob Brucci says he's waiting for all the city council members to agree to the city's offer. He hopes to send it to the Suns owner Bruce Quinn in the next few days. Quinn could have an answer by Monday or Tuesday. Hagerstown has been fighting to keep the Suns in the city. The team was negotiating with the city of Winchester, but that deal appears to have fizzled out. The Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, Dan Bongino, is back in Western Maryland, and he's been touring Hagerstown all day. WHG's Patricia Martellotti met up with him to find out the latest on his campaign trail.
President Obama's former city, WHAG News.
Dan Bongino's campaign specialist says tonight's event at the Fountainhead was a huge success. Meanwhile, a candidate for West Virginia Attorney General made a campaign announcement today. Republican Patrick Morrisey announced his plan for his first 100 days in office. Morrisey promised to focus on Medicaid fraud. He also said he would distribute any settlement money from lawsuits back to taxpayers. It was an out-of-the-ordinary outing for some Williamsport seniors who stepped out of their comfort zone and made some waves of their own. WHG's Sujatha Kandewal went along for the ride.
It was a beautiful day for HAG News.
Williamsport Retirement Village has been doing this outing since 1996, and they have no plans to stop, nor should they. Still ahead, it's the only food they receive on a day-to-day basis. Find out how these wheels are expanding their deliveries. This story and much more as WHAG News at 11 continues. Election day is right around the corner, and if you're a Pennsylvania resident, there are still many questions lingering about the voting process. Do you or do you not need a form of identification with you? Is the law in effect? Well, I spoke with the county commissioner today, and he told me the clarification is simple. If you're voting for the first time, bring an ID with you. If you've already participated in the precinct, you're encouraged to bring identification as practice for 2013. But if you don't have it, you'll not be turned away.
Barbara Wadle is counting down the days until Election Day.
Oh, I believe it's important to vote because we need to stand up for our rights and what we believe.
And in some states like Pennsylvania, that right is becoming a little more difficult.
In fact, there's been major implications in the political world in terms of the photo ID law. Originally, voters were asked to bring their photo ID to the polls, but a judge has recently ruled against that.
If you don't have your ID, you'll still be allowed to vote.
because of the recent court decision.
However, if it is your first time, you will need to provide identification, and if you don't have it, you'll be asked to go get it, or you can fill out a provisional ballot. The list of acceptable photo identification has expanded. It includes things like PA driver's license, military IDs, and photo identifications from an accredited public or private college. But even though the Keystone State is trying to be more flexible with voters, many still don't agree with the new policies.
When it comes to the identification, that's just another way of control. And I think that's what's happening today. There's just a lot of control going on, and I do think that's wrong. I think our rights is being taken from us slowly and surely in a lot of different ways, and that's just another way.
But it won't keep her from showing up to the polls and exercising her right to vote.
And just a reminder, the deadline to register to vote in this year's presidential election is tomorrow at 9 p.m.